Okay, welcome back. I mean, in the fullest extent that the words could possibly convey in the English language, welcome back. You know what I mean? So the guy on the far left is Ray Starling. The lady on my near left is Sharon Moriwaki, and the guy in the middle is Jon Yoshimura. And he's the director of policy for SolarCity, which is really something. And wow, this is an important show. One is because it's our first energy show in our new studio, which is at 888 Pioneer Plaza in the core of downtown. Really something.
That's a lucky number.
It is a lucky, super lucky number. We were thinking about renaming it 888888888. We figured 3 8s is good enough, you know.
Congratulations. I was over here on Saturday, and it didn't look like they were going to have any shows this week,
On
for
Saturday
sure.
it was up in the, everything was hanging from the ceiling.
is
you know,
lovely.
it was
Amazing.
You know, whenever I have to deal with wires and cords, I used to do all of that stuff myself. But I'm very fortunate that my wife is a former musician. So she kind of takes control of that stuff. Anytime a TV has to be moved or a stereo has to be, I just let her do it.
Smart.
Oh, that's
Smart.
great.
Makes
Nice
her happy.
to have that.
You
Yeah.
pay her
Yeah.
consulting fees, John?
Well, no.
In her manner of speaking, I think. you're
Right, yeah.
John, so, you know, this is, wow, you know, SolarCity, wow, big company, making a big impression on the whole world, right in the center of the channel and so many things. What kind of a job is that?
You know, I love my job. I've been so fortunate throughout my life to have every single job that I've had has been wonderful. You know, before I worked for SolarCity, I worked for Senator Akaka.
I was there. Remember, you set up an interview.
Absolutely.
We were on Hawaii Public Radio. He was there. You were there in the radio studio in the Senate hard office building, as I recall.
It was a fantastic experience. You know, the Senate has wonderful resources. Working for Senator Akaka, you know, it's just been was such a wonderful, wonderful experience. And you know, before that, I worked on the Honolulu City Council. I worked at Channel 2, so I'm always trying to figure out what it is that I want to do when I grow up. And I think I finally found it, you know, working for SolarCity.
So what do you like most about this?
Well, you know,
it's different from what you've done.
it's very exciting. It's my first, well, not my first, but my most recent private sector job. And I just like the freedom that the private sector provides. You know, there are a lot of things you can do without having to check with a whole bunch of people. And it's just a very interesting thing. And you know, I've always been interested in science, in sustainability, in energy. So the way I got this job is kind of interesting. I have a friend who lives in Washington, D.C. that I went to college with his brother. So I'd known this guy since we were teenagers. And long story short, when I moved to D.C., I reacquainted myself with this friend. He lobbied for the National Environmental Trust. He went to work for the Solar Energy Association. Then he went to work for SolarCity. And he said, you know, one of these days, John, we're going to expand to Hawaii. So I said, when you expand to Hawaii, let me know, because I want to work in solar. I know nothing about it, but I want to work in solar. So it's been a quick learning curve, but I've enjoyed every second of it.
So does this mean you're not going back to TV news?
Well, I don't know. You know, after this experience, I might call you up and see if there's a position for co-host or something.
It's always open.
It's always
you.
open.
Thanks.
It's always a warm seat for you.
What are you doing next Wednesday?
Anyway, congratulations
Thank
to
you.
being policy. You know, it's really important. Policy, director of policy for a big company like that. It's in a tech company. We were really impressed. So let's talk about it. What is SolarCity doing now, you know, at the edge of the envelope?
Well, you know, one of the things that SolarCity has done, which, you know, we're able to do it because of our size. We've hired a big policy team, and you know, I have like 24 colleagues, and we're deployed across the U.S. Trying to make sure that there are pro-solar and pro-renewable energy policies in all of the states. And thus far, you know, we've been pretty successful, not only through our efforts, but through other people's efforts. You know, 44 states have net metering policies. And everybody seems to look at the solar tax credit as the big reason why solar has been deployed to the extent that it has. But really, it's been net metering that has allowed solar to grow as quickly as it has. You know, one of the other things SolarCity did within the past couple of years, we would go to the utilities and say, look, we want to put more solar on your grid. How can we do it? And they would come back to us and say, well, we talked to our engineers, and our engineers say, and basically the conversation ended there, because we're not engineers. How could we argue?
Where have we heard this before?
Well, I don't know, it was the first time for me. So what ended up happening was SolarCity about 2 years ago started hiring a few engineers from the utilities that had worked on integrating renewable energy to their systems. And these guys came to work for us and started, talking to the other utility engineers. And where we couldn't talk to the utility engineers because we don't talk their language. And there might be some sort of trust factor involved because we don't work for the utility, we work for other companies. These guys could talk turkey. And that really helped us with a lot of breakthroughs in working with the utilities, coming up with ideas on what limits us as far as putting more solar on the grid, what can we do to increase the amount of solar. So I would say one of the most important things that SolarCity did was it invested in its manpower. It invested in its own people to get the right people to allow us to achieve our mission, which is 100% renewable energy in the U.S.
I want to go back to something you said. One of the big reasons for success of solar is energy net metering.
Right.
Do you think that if we took that away and just said, here, use the solar, enjoy it, have a battery, but you're not going to get paid. You're not going to be able to sell it back. Right. Utility. You think it would all fall apart?
I think that in Hawaii, we've reached a point where we are already talking about NEM 2.0. What is going to succeed NEM? And one of the dilemmas for us, I think, is that we are a leader nationwide in solar deployment adoption. If we go and change or leave NEM, what is that going to do to the other 43 states and the 6 states that don't have NEM? I mean, are they ever going to get there? So I do think that, of course, we need to fix our home first, but a lot of stuff that we do is being looked at nationwide.
The burdens of leadership.
Exactly. I mean, we have, found ourselves in this situation. Maybe we didn't plan to be there, but we are here, and we're recognized as a national leader. So a lot of people are looking to us for leadership, what happens next. And I would hate to see us leave NEM entirely, because really I believe that it's been probably the most important policy decision that our elected leaders and decision makers made that allowed us to have the kind of solar deployment.
Why does it appeal to people? And not individually, but everyone, the community. Why? Because there's not a lot of money involved for the homeowner, is it?
Well, no, there's no money involved really for the homeowner, because you have credits that if you don't use them, you don't get cash.
Yeah.
You lose them.
It's not that big a deal in terms of the economics of one household.
Yeah, net metering is simple. That's probably the reason why it's so attractive. Whatever you overproduce, you get a one-to-one credit for. You can use that at night. And so it's very easy for people to understand. It's very easy for the utility to administer. It's easy for solar companies to sell based on that idea, straight full retail net metering. But we do understand that we are going to have to begin to look at where we go, because although we don't believe that there are as many technical problems with the grid and the various circuits that the utilities say, we do understand that there are challenges. You can't put, solar on everyone's home,
right.
So one of the other things that I think we're going to talk about a little more is batteries, and how batteries will work into this 2.0 that we're trying to develop right now. You know, one of the problems, again, is overproduction. You know, there's too much electricity on the grid during the day because that's when all the solar operates. Now, what if we can store some of that stuff? And we can store it for usage during the evening peak, to maybe shave the evening peak. You know, so there are a lot of things that can be done that we aren't doing yet that really provide the, you know, the scenario for the future for
So
us.
connecting that up with the whole appeal of net energy metering, the appeal of net energy metering, I mean, to me, it's I see if you agree, it's more than the economics. It's the sense of connection, it's the sense of confidence, it's the sense of insurance.
Right.
Worst comes to worst, you know, we have a system, and I don't have to pay extra if I have the credits and all that.
Right.
But it changes, well, it is, I think it ultimately will change in terms of the amount of money that the homeowner makes when he sells the electricity back to the utility. Because
Right.
he's been paid too much. And that's been my opinion for some time, been paid too much. So it'll be reduced probably. And I wonder if you are aware of those other 44 states, is there a move in those states to reduce the actual amount of credits or money on the way back to the homeowner?
There's always a move in every single state
Yeah.
to defeat NEM somehow, because the utilities don't like it. And you know, the utilities have a lot of money. They also have organizations where they pool their money. The solar industry, generally speaking, is made up of a bunch of small businesses. You know, SolarCity is probably one of the bigger solar companies, and that's why we invest the kind of money that we do in trying to, you know, establish policy, you know, work with utilities, et cetera. So we're up against it every single day of the week, Jay. You know, there's always some effort. If it's not to defeat NEM, it's to say that, you know, producing electricity really is you know, you should be taxed on that. You know, there are all kinds of things that solar companies and you know, the sale of solar, all kinds of issues that are being generated by the utilities, you know, trying to slow us down. But
it serves the utilities, or maybe not. You're saying it does not serve the utilities' interest to have them.
right.
It's better if you keep your own electricity, don't try to sell it back to us. We'll generate brand new electricity if you want it,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Right.
But the problem is really, if they really cut the NEM out completely, then that's going to encourage customers to go out and buy batteries and eventually leave the system if that works for them.
You know, I wish I had a crystal ball, because who knows what's going to happen 10, 20 years from now. You know, I think a lot of stuff that we're talking about that are huge problems now and big issues will be non-issues, because something
I think you're right.
will
I
happen,
think
you
you're
know?
right there.
Either people will go off grid and this whole investor-owned utility model is going to fall apart, or the investor-owned utilities will try to find a way to benefit from the investment of not their investment, like their ratepayers' investment, and take advantage of that. You know, this is stuff that they didn't have to pay for, that if they can take advantage of it, it could be of a benefit to everybody.
I'm starting to get it.
I agree.
I'm starting to get it. The reason, from your point of view, as the policy director, SolarCity, for all of this, is because you've got to follow all the changes, every change.
Right.
It's not only how the homeowners feel, the utilities, it's all these schemes and plans and changes, you know, profound demands and desires by all these groups. You got to follow that because you got to be involved.
It's exciting.
It's part of
very
your market,
frustrating.
whatever happens.
Yeah.
And that means we're going to take a break.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You
It's
remember
about time.
breaks, John? You know, years ago, they used
I
to
love
take
it.
breaks. Except our breaks are different. We just talk about other shows. We don't sell anything. Watch this.
Thank you.
Watch this.
Ted Ralston, folks, host of our show at ThinkTech Hawaii called Where the Road Leads, where we talk about technology influencing the future of Hawaii. Technology, of course, is the art of solving problems. We always bring in interesting and informed guests who can see from different perspectives and different points of view how that future might unfold and how technology can assist us in getting there. So once again, join us 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Fridays. Ted Ralston, your host. And please, if you have ideas that you'd like us to address on this show or folks who you think should be on it, let us know.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island and ER physician. Every other Tuesday, I get to host a show here on the ThinkTech program about healthcare. We call it Healthcare in Hawaii. It's really enjoyable for me to bring other healthcare leaders from around the state to talk about our pressing issues. Hawaii has long been the health state, but we need to keep up the momentum, the inertia, and with your help and with your participation, we can come and share all of the big issues that are pressing day to day. Thanks for joining us every Tuesday, alternating weeks from 2 to 2:45.
Okay, we're back, we're live, and if you didn't know it, okay, the best part of this show is during the breaks.
No, it's not.
Suffer. So Ray, you had something good during the break.
Well, no, I was just saying that I think that, you know, things are going to change, and I believe truly that, that batteries will become more important, more as a smoothing mechanism for the entire grid, and the utilities, if they're smart, will use that to their advantage as well and make it work better together instead of just, you know, trying to hold off evolution, I guess, is the way I see them sometimes acting. You know, don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen.
Flexibility
It's
is the name of the
midst
game.
of
But you had a story, John, also during the break.
Yeah, well, you know, I wanted to tell you the
Yeah.
story about how SolarCity was created. So our founders are founders are brothers. The Pete and Lyndon Rive, they're brothers, and
How do you spell?
R-I-V-E, yeah, Pete and Lyndon Rive. And their first cousin is Elon Musk.
That's a
So
Tesla.
Elon Musk's mom and their mom are twin sisters. So they're very close. And the story goes that the two Rive brothers and their cousin Elon were in a van driving to Burning Man, which is one of these, you know, concert venues, right? So they were in a van going to Burning Man, and Elon turns and looks at his cousins and say, you need to get into solar. That's the next big thing. And of course, Elon is the guy who was one of the founders of PayPal, sold out of that, and then started 3 companies basically: SpaceX, commercial space exploration; Tesla Motors, which is probably best known for because of the Model S and the Roadster; and SolarCity. So Elon is our chairman of the board, and his 2 first cousins, Pete and Lyndon, are, you know, our founders. Lyndon serves as our CEO, and Pete is our chief technology officer. So Pete has been very involved in the rollout of this new product offering that we have, which is the Tesla battery backup for home systems. SolarCity.
SolarCity is marketing this thing?
Well, we're selling it, and so are other companies. You know, Tesla, through their Gigafactory, will make more batteries than they or any one other solar company can use. So we would have no chance of getting an exclusive because we wouldn't be able to sell the amount of batteries that they're going to produce. Yeah. So they are, you know, selling these systems to other companies. But we feel at SolarCity, of course, that we are the best company to work with when it comes to the Tesla battery, because we've already been working with Tesla for the past 2 or 3 years on helping them develop their home storage system. And we've had a little more than 200 of these systems. Right.
So it's in place, it's commercialized, and it's being sold,
Right.
and you can install it.
Right, we've already had about 200 of these home battery systems deployed in California, in a pilot in California for the past 2 years. And in addition to the residential battery product, Tesla also has a commercial and a utility scale battery product that, you know, they've been marketing to sell to other companies. And we have also been providing this commercial battery product. About about a month or two ago, SolarCity came out with a microgrid product called Grid Logic, where we will go and build out microgrids for, institutions or practices like schools, anybody who uses a lot of power during the day. We have this long collaboration with Tesla, and we feel that we're the best positioned to take this next step, marrying solar panels and modules with batteries.
Collaboration is important because they know about batteries from cars.
Right.
They got really good batteries, better all the time. And then you know about what you need, to store electricity from solar. So together, the collaboration leads to this. So what is it? Is it this big? Is it this big one? What color is it?
It's gray. If you go to the SolarCity website, there's a lot of information.
Maybe we can go to that during the next break and pull up a picture of it.
Yeah, it's on the SolarCity website, solarcity.com, and it's one of the things that Tesla excels in is design. So you wouldn't expect them to have an ugly battery. So some people commented that, hey, this is like the best looking battery pack that they've ever seen.
We bring one in, we put them right there on the table.
Yeah.
As a
What is
special
this?
guest.
Yeah.
So you're a really smart battery, say something.
So they're relatively small in size. They're much smaller than an inverter. If you have a PV system at home, you kind of know what that size is like. It's much smaller than that, and it's designed to fit in your garage or someplace.
On a shelf in your garage.
Yeah.
What, a couple of feet, maybe?
Yeah, right.
And-
Exactly.
and,
It might be a little longer and thinner.
Okay. And this makes you completely independent?
No.
Ah.
This really is our Gen 1 product. This product is not a product for everybody. And again, this product will and can be retrofitted to do other things. But right now, this product is for backup only. So in other words, if you have this battery, you will not use it unless the power goes out. And then if the power goes out, you're the coolest kid in the block because you're the only one with power.
Now they all want to be your friend.
Right, exactly. They want to charge their phones. But this product right now will not allow you to charge it up during the day and then draw power from it at night. This
Capacity?
it's enough power to easily power 4 important circuits in your home. So you might have a refrigerator or something that's really essential that you
Like
want to have
emergency.
powered. This system would be set up such that if the power went out, your battery pack would automatically go on, and it would power the things in your home that you felt was very important, that it needed to continue
For how
to be
long?
powered.
Overnight?
For the whole, overnight to the next day when it charges up again, and you generate overproduction, which charges your battery. You produce power that you can use during the day, and then at night you can use your power.
So
your
it's just
battery
hooked up
again.
to your PV, and then it just generates.
Right.
So if you had a Tesla
Yeah.
or an EV, how would that work? The whole closed system.
Well, what you could do is you could, have your car charging outlet be one of the critical outlets that you want to have powered, but it's really not designed to do that.
Because a Tesla, when it's not working, the car
Yeah.
is also storage. It's also
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
So. Yeah.
Could it be used on a leaf?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is just, as you said, the first generation, and, you're learning a lot. Tesla's learning a lot about how this works or doesn't work and what kinds of things they can do to make it better.
Yeah.
So it's, I expect, and we've seen, Sharon and I were at the Maui Energy Conference, and we saw the leaf at the Hitachi tent that was pushing power into the tent to run fans and TV sets and various electrical gear. And so, it's already starting to be used both ways. You charge it and you discharge it. And I suspect that the Tesla battery will take its place among those kinds of things.
I don't think we're going to be a Gen 1 for very long. I think things are going to develop.
So what's
rather
Gen 2?
quickly.
Elon
What's on
Musk
the
doesn't
horizon?
do
I
things that
think,
way.
well, I think it's very important to realize that in Hawaii, we don't yet have policy when it comes to interconnecting battery systems to our grid.
What's missing?
Policy.
What?
So if you wanted to hook up a PV system and battery to the HECO grid, you would still have to go through net metering, okay? So there's nothing different about having a battery.
Or not?
Or not, right. There's nothing different. We feel that a battery, maybe not Gen 1, but the batteries that we're currently in development, and it's not the batteries that need to be developed, it's the software, right? So we feel that these storage units in the future will be such that they're going to benefit the utility. In fact, there should be ways that the utility can discharge the battery remotely to shave their evening peak. And so, we really feel that if these batteries are going to prevent export to the system, in other words, there's no excess production that's going to the system, which is one of the problems that HECO is currently saying PV presents. If we're going to export into the battery and not into the grid, there should be a shortcut, or we should be able to bypass NEM. Because if we're not in a net metering situation, if we're not feeding to get back credits, if we're feeding into the battery and that's it, we shouldn't have to go through NEM. NEM is for this, exchange, this credit. And we also feel that, if we have these types of storage systems, PV plus storage systems that are established, that we shouldn't have to get an interconnection approval from HECO. We should just be able to notify them. So one of the things that's holding back battery adoption in Hawaii is we don't have policy. And we don't have policy that incentivizes people to put batteries and storage, to couple them with their PV systems.
So what would the policy look like? I mean, if you say, okay, are there other, states that have policy? What does that look like?
Well, California is working simultaneously as we are in Hawaii. As you do know, the PUC about maybe 60 days ago put us on this Distributed Energy Resources docket. We call it the DERS docket. And what the PUC asked us to do was to look at technical and economic issues that are being created, okay? So one of the technical issues is how do we look at interconnecting battery storage to the grid? And the solar industry feels that we should be allowed, if our systems create power that services the home and charges the battery, but does not feed anything into the grid. So we have really no impact on the grid, okay? If that's the case, we shouldn't have to go through NEM. And as you know, NEM is probably the biggest roadblock for people who want solar. I mean, sometimes they go and make a NEM application.
The interconnect aspect of it.
Well, no. Getting the net metering agreement, right? Even before you can get a building permit. There have been cases where people have applied for a net metering agreement and have waited more than a year for HECO to approve. And that's the infamous HECO queue. But it still takes several months for HECO to, number one, because they get a lot of these applications. I feel they don't have enough staff.
So it's a matter of policy then. I get my battery. I don't want to sell anything back. I'll put it in my battery instead.
Yeah.
But I want to have the connection because sometimes, who knows why, I may need to buy power from HECO.
Absolutely.
But I won't sell power to HECO.
So you don't need a net metering agreement. We should be able to bypass that.
That seems clear, John. It seems clear.
Thank you, Jay.
So what's really? So what's the holdup on getting that policy through?
Well, that's a good question, and you know, I can't answer that question. HECO feels that you know, there are issues involved. You know, we've tried to address their main concerns, and their main concerns is that there's too much
Interconnection, the
power.
main concern is we can't handle the extra power you want to
Exactly.
sell us.
So if we're
but
not
if
selling
we're
them
not
power-
selling any power, then, okay.
We're trying to resolve that issue.
Okay, let's take a break and see if we can do it in the break.
All right.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I host Likeable Science on ThinkTech Hawaii, and I do this because I care about science literacy in Hawaii. I want to spread the understanding that science is a vital and interesting part of everyone's life. I want to make sure the broadest possible spectrum of people understand the beauty and the value of science and realize that science plays out each and every day of their lives. I want you to understand that science is fun. So we bring onto this show each week guests who are scientists, from astronomers to zoologists, and we talk about what they do and how they do it. But most importantly, we talk about why you should care about their work, why you should see that their work has value and impact on your life. So I hope you'll join us Fridays, 1 p.m. here on ThinkTech Hawaii. You can watch us via live stream. You can watch us recorded on Olelo, and you can see us each week. We hope you'll join us.
2, 1, bingo, we're back. I told you we'd come back. That's Jon Yoshimura. He's the Director of Policy for SolarCity, and my co-host on the left is Sharon Moriwaki, and on the far left is Ray Starling. Okay, welcome back, and now we're going to look at some. We're going to
What
look
it
at some.
looks like.
So, here we are.
The nice
We're going
design.
to look at a website. Okay, there it is.
Wow.
SolarCity website. All right. So every 3 minutes, somebody comes to SolarCity.
Yeah, we were in 16 states and DC, and about 1 out of every 4 residential systems installed in the U.S. is a SolarCity system.
Wow.
There, you know, on that website, there's a lot of different pages. There's a page that is specifically designed for people who are interested in the battery backup product. And I don't know if she can surf that.
We're not able to go there.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
anyway, if you're interested, take a look at our website. There are a bunch of FAQs about battery backup. Like I said, this is our first generation storage system. It really is not for everybody, but what it does is it provides you security when power goes out. You know, maybe you have an elderly person at home, you need to have, you know, machines or electricity or what have you. You know, this will provide some security for those situations.
There are 8 storms coming.
Yeah,
Can I
said
get
that
this installed tomorrow?
Well, you know, I'll sign you up.
So when is it coming?
We
The
started,
storms or the battery?
we started selling
The battery
the,
before the
I'm
storm.
concerned about the storms.
we
What are
started,
you
we
talking
started
about?
selling the batteries, and I think they are scheduled to be installed later this year in September.
Okay, how much they cost?
Well, you know, you
You said
for
you-
you- Well,
You said
okay,
that's how
so
you
I'm not a salesperson.
We have to have another break now.
I did bring my computer so I could refer to it, because I don't do sales, I don't know specific numbers. However,
Rough idea.
I have a rough idea. If you wanted to purchase this system outright, it would cost you $7,000, about $7,100.
Just the battery part.
Just the battery to buy, okay? Now, if you wanted to pair that with a solar system, you know, you'd have to come out of pocket about $7,000.
Yeah, okay. So this does not include the solar system itself?
No.
Just the battery?
Just to
Right.
take it up.
Right.
Okay. And that is 4 circuits, but an average house has what, 3 times 4 circuits?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, you might not want to put your your toaster oven or your typewriter on,
I
you
really
know.
care about my toaster.
Yeah, well, maybe you might have to start a fire, Jay. But, you know, you definitely want to put your refrigerator on it.
Sounds like I
Yeah.
may want to wait on this, honestly, because,
Wait till Gen 2.
because, you know, if I want the whole house, I don't want to limit my circuits.
Sure,
I just say
sure.
to my wife, well, we can only use this circuit, but not that circuit.
But you want the
know.
refrigerator in case of the disaster to be
I do.
on.
I do. I want
Yeah,
that.
At least that one.
So maybe, you know, maybe you have to have a step-up policy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
well,
yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
well, these systems that we sell now are reconfigurable to provide the advanced smart battery activities that will be, you know, done in Generation 2.
Yeah.
Storage where you can, you know, buy it down or what have you, and you know, it'll do all those things that the Gen 1 doesn't do.
So am I right to say that the Gen 2 is going to be like 3 times the capacity?
I don't know about capacity being greater. I think it's just going to be able for different uses. You know, the first generation is just battery backup. It will help you when the grid goes down. Second generation will do that and more.
Yeah. So somebody have to come to my house and connect the battery to the 3 or 4 circuits? Yes.
Yeah.
So it requires a little bit of installation.
That's
Sure.
SolarCity, that's where SolarCity comes in.
Sure,
We
yeah.
give you the equipment and we hook it up.
Right.
Now, when it goes to the 2.0, then you just put it on the trunk line, so to speak, right?
Right.
And you wouldn't have to identify circuits or anything.
That's right.
This is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting stuff.
But aren't you concerned? I mean, this goes to Ray's question earlier. If I have a battery that is so amazing like this, why don't I just go off the grid?
Well, you know, we have not. Well, we don't promote going off grid.
But why wouldn't I do that? Why would, I mean, I'd say, wow, I feel great today. I'm going to cut the cord.
Yeah. Well, you know, I said, you know,
There's some security.
Exactly.
There's some security in you're connected to not only the grid and the utility, but all the other people out there who are connected. And that gives its own backup of sorts.
Plus insurance, right?
It's
Because
insurance, right.
if the Tesla battery fails, you know, you got to have something else. And if you don't have a connection, you're SOL.
Yeah, one of the big-
SOL is an SOL in SolarCity.
one of the big announcements that came along with the Tesla battery launch was sort of missed by a lot of people in Hawaii as well. As I mentioned to you, you know, we do not advise going off grid. However, with the uncertainty over the Hawaii situation, because you know HECO is you know wants to change the net metering rules, and you know there's just a lot of things going on right now. Off grid actually pencils in Hawaii. So beginning in October of this year, SolarCity is going to start selling an off-grid product in Hawaii only, not in any of the other
It's a
states.
battery. It's a battery.
It's a battery with solar, and it's a larger battery than the battery backup because basically, you know, you need to power the whole
everything.
home. We're going to start selling that in October and plan to start installing in the first quarter of 2016. And again, you know, this battery product is not for everybody.
No, well, I suppose if you're in the rural areas of the neighbor islands, it'd be really powerful
Sure.
stuff.
So who
Because you
is
may
it
not-
good for, though? I mean, if you say not for everybody, what does it work for?
You know, it works for anybody, but you know, there is an investment involved.
To the cost, you're saying the cost.
There's a cost. However, it pencils in Hawaii, so you know, going off grid, you'll still pay less than you would, you know, paying your monthly bill to HECO.
And I suspect it's kind of like driving an EV. You have to pay more attention to how much energy you're using
Right.
when you've just got that
You manage
that
it better.
battery. Yes, you
Which
do.
is what we're trying to tell people to do anyway, right?
That is,
But you
it's
can do it with
exactly right.
software, you know, I mean, paying attention, software can pay attention. I mean, you could come up with a red light says you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or correct it somehow, so that at the end of the
That's
day,
right.
when we write all the code out,
Right.
which may not be written yet.
Right.
Just turn
This
off
will
by
all be
itself.
automatic. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
sure, yeah,
It'll
sure.
turn off your toaster oven, whether you like it or not.
Time to go to sleep.
You want hot water in the morning? We're gonna go off tonight.
So I know you're not in sales, but how much does that one cost?
You know what, that product,
It's
we're gonna
so-
start selling it in October. I'll tell you in October.
This is
Oh,
big
yeah?
business.
Yeah.
So what is it about this battery that's so magic? Can you talk about it in public?
You know, it's a
Nobody's
lithium-ion battery. I think the magic of it is that it's gonna be mass-produced. And because of that, you know, the
That's the
prices
game
are
changer.
gonna.
That's the game changer.
Big game
Yeah.
changer. You know, we recently saw some photos of the gigafactory that Elon Musk is building, and it's just immense. It's amazing. You know, and he's really you know, bet the farm that you know, batteries, battery
right.
storage,
He's right.
and also, you know, EVs are really the thing of the future. And you know, because of that gigafactory, the prices are just gonna drop significantly, making it, you know, economical for people all of a sudden.
Where's the factory? Is it in California?
It's in Nevada,
Oh, Nevada?
yeah.
Yeah. And just the batteries, not the cars,
Just the batteries, yeah.
It's truly amazing. I mean, and, you know, I mean, I want him to adopt me into his.
You're right.
And
Aren't you another cousin?
not just for the
Yeah,
battery.
right.
But, okay, so, what kind of battery is it?
It's a lithium-ion battery, as opposed to lead acid,
Yeah.
as opposed to, you know, all kinds of other types of storage that they have. And I think lithium-ion has shown to be the most durable, you know, the most resistant to degradation,
Yeah.
and the safest.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's safe enough to put in your car when you're driving at 60 miles down the highway, it's safe enough to sit on a shelf in your.
How do you make a battery safe? I was thinking of that gray thing you described, it was about
Yeah.
that big, and a little bigger if I go 3 circuits for the
Sure.
whole house. I mean, 3 times 4 circuits for the whole house. But, I mean, could I hurt myself with that?
No. No. You know.
It's all insulated anyway.
Right, exactly.
And
And-
how long does it last? When
The,
is
the,
that
the, this is something that I do remember from reading my notes. Actually, the battery is warranted for 9 years. And so it's good for 9 years, and you know, I think it's replaceable, and you know.
So you
the-
get like a trade-in? So
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
pay for the whole thing? I
Right,
guess.
right.
Well, this is gonna change things, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're just at the very start of it. I mean, you know, think of the solar PV industry even in 2009. I mean, it was practically non-existent.
Yeah, look at it now, and
Yeah.
you're right in the middle of it. I have to say, I'm even more bowled over by your situation now at the end.
If
of
you
the
think
show
you're
than
bowled
I-
over, I am. Yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, it's so exciting to be in this job at this time. You know, I get to work with thought leaders and you know, folks like Ray at Hawaii Energy, and you know, with the people at HECO. I mean, you know, everybody's trying to solve a problem from different perspectives. So, you know, that makes it really challenging, but at the same time, it really makes it rewarding when something happens.
Yeah, let's follow with you. Let's do this again.
Thank you.
Ray, you wanna make a summary?
Well, as
I always
always,
catch 'em off
as
guard.
always, I was just thinking, we've got to have John back
Yeah,
about
in
next,
October.
October.
Oh, boy.
October.
And he can answer all the questions that are secret now about the new
And then you have
battery.
to bring a picture of it, or the actual battery. The
Next
small
time,
emergency
I will
This
have
story-
props next time.
Props.
This story has a sequel, I
Yes,
can
this story has a
guarantee.
sequel,
yeah,
a
it's
2.0, but on and on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
John, for
Jay.
coming
Yeah,
down.
Sharon.
And a great
Thank
discussion.
you.
Yeah.
John
Good to see you.
Yoshimura, Director
It's
of Policy
exciting.
at SolarCity, together with Sharon Moriwaki and Ray Starling, my co-host, here on Hawaii, the state of clean energy. And what did we said we were going to call this, and Tesla in every home. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.